Hello, my name is Kevin Cuppet. I'm the Executive Director for Curriculum, Instruction, and Innovation in Frederick County Public Schools. On behalf of the ACTS team, I'd like to welcome you to the 2020-21 school year. The last time you viewed a message like this, we were coming out of a 2-week closure and were preparing to launch continuity of learning. During that unprecedented time, FCPS worked diligently at all levels to implement distance learning on a rather large scale. The ACTS team would like to extend a sincere thank you to all of you who worked tirelessly during that time. In the end, teachers, leaders, and school staff made the difference. We'd also like to thank you in advance for making virtual learning a significant improvement over what we did last spring. As you know by now, the Board of Education has decided to open the school year in a virtual-only model and allow small groups to come to school. Over the summer, FCPS staff has been planning for a variety of instructional models, including a hybrid, a full virtual, and a traditional return to school, mostly through the work of 4 large work groups. Feedback from the various surveys that were distributed to multiple stakeholders guided our planning. A number of developments have occurred over the summer that we want to make teachers aware of so that they'll be better prepared to start the school year. A big one is that the Maryland State Department of Education is expecting us to teach all standards in all content areas, and that state accountability assessments will proceed as normal. So accountability is not going away. We received a lot of questions about expectations for the instructional model. After receiving feedback from students, parents, and teachers, there are some important components that will be part of the instructional model moving forward. A major component will be the increase in synchronous instruction during the week. Teachers will have scheduled times to provide instruction to their class or classes via Google Meet. Although many teachers use Google Meet as a way to provide synchronous support during continuity of learning, all teachers will now provide synchronous instruction in the virtual learning model. Instruction will be provided to both whole groups as well as small groups of students. Teachers received professional development on this in the spring. We received many requests about whether or not Google Meet can be recorded. Parents, students, and teachers all requested that recordings be permitted. Well, we have good news. Recordings are permitted and in many cases will be required. These recordings will be an important tool for providing the instruction that has occurred in a live synchronous session to students who were unable to attend. The recordings will also allow students to review the instruction when they're working on assignments. In addition, these recordings will be important for families or even child care providers to view when they support students in the virtual model. As you know, the Board of Education has authorized small groups of students to be available for face-to-face instruction. School teams will be working to identify those students who need additional face-to-face time beyond virtual learning. Teachers will be volunteering to instruct small groups at school. The opportunity to meet with some students face-to-face is a significant upgrade from continuity of learning. Another improvement will be the use of Schoology as the sole platform for course management. Parents were overwhelmingly in favor of moving all classes into a single platform, as it was difficult for parents to access, understand, and manage multiple platforms. To be clear, Google Classroom is no longer permitted for course management. We believe that teachers, parents, and students will see the real value of a single learning platform for course management, gradebook, and communication. Day-to-day communications regarding course activities and assignments will occur through Schoology. This will reduce the number of communication streams that a parent must monitor. Tools like Remind and Blooms will no longer be used by FCPS staff. Of course, teachers will still contact parents via phone and email when that's the most appropriate form of communication. If you recall from continuity of learning, in the spring, the Distance Learning Resource Center served as a one-stop shop for teachers to access resources and professional learning. Over the summer, the DLRC was updated to reflect the significant changes and improvements that were made as part of the movement to virtual learning. The new Virtual Learning Resource Center, or VLRC, will continue to serve as a one-stop shop to support teachers. Teachers can go to this location to find information on Schoology, Schoology blueprints, digital resources, professional learning opportunities, and more. The VLRC should be something you bookmark on your web browser. The link to the VLRC is available on Curriculum Now. Another upgrade for virtual learning will be the availability of pre-made, high-quality digital resources that teachers can push directly to students through Schoology. These Schoology Blueprint resources are being finalized for a number of courses across multiple content areas. Teachers will use the blueprints as a starting point for their courses. Once a teacher pulls a Schoology Blueprint into their course, they can add their own digital resources as they build their courses around the needs of their students. Please note, you should not copy the blueprint into your course until that blueprint is completed. Curriculum staff are continuing to work on those as we speak. If the blueprint is still in draft form, feel free to review it in district resources. However, you should wait until it is complete before copying it into your course. Changes that are made to a blueprint in the district resources section will not appear in your course if you've already copied it. Having these ready-made blueprint resources available will allow teachers to spend less time developing assignments, assessments, videos, and activities, and more time engaging with students, providing direct instruction, giving feedback on student work, and holding small group instruction. So it's important that every teacher in Frederick County Public Schools, as well as school leaders and other staff, continue to build their skills in Schoology and Google Meet. Professional learning resources for these tools can be found on the Virtual Learning Resource Center. The final bullet on this slide is critically important. An important consideration during the virtual model will be to think of instructional planning more as a week-to-week endeavor rather than a day-to-day process. We know that some students are going to have difficulty participating in a virtual learning environment depending on the day. As a result, we really need to think about weekly instructional planning whereby students have flexibility to complete assignments over a period of time with dates considerate of individual situations with students and families. In addition, we received requests from a number of families that having assignments set up early in the week and laid out for the week was a much better approach than producing assignments on a daily basis. In addition to Schoology blueprints, central office staff have added new digital tools for teachers to use with students. A few quick examples. A number of our courses in the high school use specialized software that can only be run on desktop computers that have specific processing power and memory. We will be virtualizing that higher demand software that students can actually use it on their Chromebooks. Another example, Lexia Core 5 licenses were purchased for every elementary student in the district. Use of Lexia will be required to support students and their reading development. We've also purchased Screencast-O-Matic, which is a screencast tool designed to help teachers convey content by recording screencasts for their students. During continuity of learning, teachers found that screencasts were an important way to convey information when not with students synchronously. Students are able to review screencasts multiple times, as will their parents, guardians, or child care providers. It's important that teachers continue to reference the list of approved digital tools before using any tech tool. The list changes with new tools being added and some previously approved tools being removed. As an example, YouTube recently changed its terms and conditions, and according to YouTube, students under 13 are no longer permitted to use their service. Therefore, YouTube cannot be used in our elementary and middle schools. It can still be used at the high school level, however, now parent permission is required. That's a big change, so please check the approved tools list available on Curriculum Now. In addition to digital resources being readily available for teachers, significant professional learning has been and will continue to be provided. In fact, over the summer, just about 500 teachers participated in professional learning opportunities related to the virtual learning environment. On-demand learning modules are available for Schoology and Google Meet, and teachers can learn about digital tools by exploring the Hub, which is a clearinghouse for learning about many of the digital tools. That's linked in Curriculum Now. One other addition that will help support teachers is the Distance Learning Playbook, which will be provided to all teachers in Frederick County Public Schools through Title II funds. The Distance Learning Playbook is a resource designed to help teachers navigate virtual learning and is authored by Douglas Fisher, Nancy Fry, and John Hattie. The book contains a research-informed set of practices in an easy-to-understand format with an emphasis on implementation. Not only will this book serve as a support for teachers as they make decisions about virtual learning, but it will also develop a common set of language for teachers to use in the ALP process. Another upgrade to the virtual model will be the return to normal grading practices. All grading will follow the grading regulations. This change was guided by feedback we received from teachers, parents, and students. In addition, Schoology will now be the required gradebook for all teachers, regardless of grade level. To that end, professional learning on how to use the Schoology gradebook will be available, especially to elementary teachers and new teachers, as will guidance on how to set up an elementary gradebook. As always, teachers will be responsible for recording at least one grade per week in the Schoology gradebook. Another component to keep in the forefront of our minds is on social-emotional learning and the well-being of our students. Social-emotional learning will occur at all levels, and specific details will be provided by your school principal. Beyond programs for social-emotional learning, we know that just like in the spring, school staff will be attuned to the social-emotional needs of their students. The COVID-19 pandemic, continuity of learning, and a summer of uncertainty are impacting all of us. We'll all need to do our part to help each other adjust to the virtual learning environment, not only for students, but for our colleagues. More expectations will be shared by your school leaders, especially around schedules, routines and engagement, and student communication expectations. Again, the ACTS team would like to thank you in advance for your work this coming school year, and we wish you luck as we enter the full virtual learning experience. We have the greatest confidence that you will be agents of our success and champions for our students. Have a great year.